Hey guys, welcome to our tiny home on wheels. Thanks for joining us on this virtual tour. I just grabbed a drink out of our beer fridge up front here. If you want to grab one and join me, we can go ahead and get started. Cheers. Up front here, hiding behind our chalkboard, we have a 12,000 BTU Pioneer mini split. It heats and cools our entire house. Home. I guess it's not really a house. House on wheels, call it what you want. When we don't want to have to worry about running the mini split, we do have a diesel heater hidden in the dash. We also have one in the back of the bus, and they do a very good job at heating the entire bus in the colder months. Hiding beside the driver's seat here, we have about 100 pounds of dog food. And if you think we're crazy for that, just wait until you see our dogs. We have two Great Dane English Mastiff mixes. They are huge and they eat a lot, so that is absolutely necessary, and we thought it was a good hiding spot for all of their food. Speaking of hiding spots, we also have a secret can crusher up here. Because we love craft beer so much, we wanted to make sure we could save space when recycling, so the can crusher is essential. Moving on to the living room, we have two couches opposite each other. This one actually pulls out to join this one, and they create a spare queen-size bed for when we have guests. When we want to watch movies or shows, whatever we're feeling, we just pull the screen up right here. There's a screw hiding on the trim up top here, and we have a projector on the ceiling, and that acts as our TV. Under this couch, we have our solar setup. So all of our batteries, our inverter, our charge controller, everything is under this side of the couch. I will let Ethan explain that later. Under this couch, we just have storage for some bulkier items and a bunch of our shoes. Another thing I want to point out in the living room, you'll actually see it throughout the entire build, is our window trim. Now, we can't take credit for this. Ethan's dad actually helped us. He is a carpenter, and he worked his magic. I can't explain to you how he did it. All I know is that it turned out amazing.
Hey guys, welcome to the kitchen here. First thing I want to talk about is kind of one of the centerpieces of our bus is our countertops, which we made out of walnut slabs that we got locally. We cut them to size, planed them down, sanded the crap out of them, and then we also poured an epoxy river down the middle. With that in mind, we also were able to use some of the scraps from those projects to make these shelves for the tea. And then we also made this knife rack here. And if you missed it up front, we also have a dining room table that we can set up and have the legs hidden behind one of the couches for. But that's one of the bigger pieces of the bus. All of the backsplash Kim did, it's all done with flexible grout and mortar. And again, more of the window trim that my dad did. All of those were custom bent and glued with thinner strips of wood to make that bend. And then up top we've got all of our upper cabinets. They're all on struts, so you don't have to worry about holding them. We have a smoke and carbon monoxide sensor under there. And then over here we have a fruit hammock that Kim just made not too long ago. That's been super handy keeping stuff off of the countertops. And then we have a Furrion brand propane stove. It's a 3-burner. Seems to be working pretty well so far. Oven's a little small, but so is our house, so be it. We've got a pretty large sink over here, and then we have a regular faucet that you can pull off to wash dishes and such, and then we've got a filtered water tap and a soap pump dispenser, all of which have been working pretty nicely. And then we've got our main skylight here. I feel like we get the most airflow from that, A, because it's bigger, and B, just because of the location of it on the bus. And then we have a 10 cubic foot, just a standard 110 volt apartment fridge. It's a Magic Chef. Again, has been working really well. here is the start of our pantry. It is packed with food, but everything is on nice drawers that come out, so we don't have to worry about reaching all the way in because it is a little tight in there. Then we've got our closet here. This is all just hanging storage, as you can see, and then all of these are just giant drawers, and everything's on soft close. It's a little tough depending on how you're parked with the soft close, but they seem to be working pretty well. And then another big feature of the bus is our bathroom. Again, Kim did all the tiling in there, but then we have a custom compost toilet. We've got storage for the coconut coir that we use for the compost toilet. We've got a little bit of storage hidden in the step here. And then we've just got these teak, they're like an outdoor decking tile that we use for the flooring. Again, seems to be holding up pretty well so far. We do have one of the Nebia shower heads as well. That's been super nice to use, but also pretty good on water conservation. Everything else in the shower is just really made to match. And then if you move back just slightly on the outside of the bathroom, aside from the switches, we have a map where we're just kind of scratching off the states where we're staying at. So we'll be moving every 3 months or so, so whichever state we're staying in. Right now we're in Arizona. Likely going to be in Oregon or Washington next, so you'll see those scratched off pretty soon. And then we will hop up into the bedroom. So with the bedroom, we stole this step off the side of the bus as well as this handle. Super handy for getting up into bed. We lofted the bed about 40 inches so that the dogs would have room underneath. But up here we've got a California King, another feature part of the bus. Kim made this mural out of wood, and then kind of custom painted the sky as well. And we've got another mount and another projector back here. Those are Nebula projectors. They're smart projectors. They're wireless. They've got a built-in speaker. So those have been really nice to use. We've got LED strip lights that you can change the color and brightness and all that. And then we have the second main hatch back here, which serves as not only ventilation, but it's also access to the roof deck, which is about 12 by 8. And we actually made the frame for that out of a couple shipping skids for jet skis that we got off of just Facebook Marketplace. We picked them up for like $100. We've got storage in the back cubbies here. So each of us have our own section on each side of the bed, and then there's also a bunch of cubbies on either side of the bed that you can just kind of pop up there. Those don't house a ton of stuff, but it houses a lot of little stuff. And then, all right, so the last thing back here, so in the garage we have our hot water heater plumbed back there, as well as a bunch of tool storage and that kind of stuff, but we do have a second smoke and carbon monoxide alarm here. But that's it for the bedroom, for our bedroom. Now that you've seen ours, check out the dogs.
Welcome to the doghouse. As you can see, there's plenty of room down here for these guys, and sometimes for us when we want to snuggle with them. They aren't quite trained for tour making yet. Not the best at camera etiquette. But that was Milo, and this is Blue. They love to hang out under here, but we do let them up on our bed for snuggles as well. A part of their room is devoted to extra storage, and it was all built on top of our 100-gallon freshwater tank, which is underneath of all of this. And up front we have a door for our water closet. It gives us access to the tank and to the water pump and accumulator tank. Like I mentioned, in the front of the bus we have a second diesel heater back here specifically for the dogs to heat their room if it is too cold outside. Come here, buddy. Come on, all the way in. There you go. And they also have their own fan to help circulate the air. Like Ethan mentioned, stay here. Like Ethan mentioned, there is a garage behind the back wall, but we can only access it from the exterior of the bus. So let's head out there.
All right, so the bus itself is a 97 Thomas International. It's a 37-foot. We went ahead and upgraded all of the exterior lights to LEDs, a little brighter, a little nicer to look at. And then on the outside here, we have the condenser unit for our mini split, just your regular battery storage. We also then added this toolbox here for under storage. A lot of our just bigger items go in there. And then sitting here, we have our kayak that we strap to the roof when we're driving. And then we also have an awning sitting there that we're in the process of installing again. We also have a little solar trickle charger here just to help maintain the bus batteries while we're sitting, just in case there are any draws on the battery while we're sitting here. As you can see, we obviously did a roof raise. It was a 20-inch roof raise, and then we did custom RV windows all the way around. And then we just have, this side's pretty straightforward. We just have our water inlet and our power inlet over here. And then we just added this Wii Boost, which has been super helpful for getting service. We had like 1 bar of service when we got here, and with the Wii Boost, we're about right at full service. So that's been nice. And then around the back, while we're here, I will mention the solar panels on top. We have 6 320 watt, 24 volt Renogy panels on top. And then we just recently upgraded to a Victron inverter and charge controller inside, and we're running 600 amp hours of lithium iron phosphate batteries. All of that has allowed us to run pretty much whatever we want, as much as we want. We're still a little bit in the testing phase with the mini split, but then around the back of the bus, aside from Milo here, we also have a ladder that leads up to our roof deck. We have our wireless backup camera, and then the garage, we do have some marine speakers that we just swapped into some of the old flasher holes. They're not wired up to anything yet, but that'll be a one-day project. But in the garage here, aside from the mess of tools currently, we've got a pretty organized door with all sorts of random odds and ends. And then the water heater is mounted inside there, as well as all of our tools. We've got a ladder, just about anything we need for any project. I do wish we had left a little bit more space back here just to make organizing it and cleaning a little easier, but it does the trick. Just had to get a little creative with the storage options.
All right, that's about it. We hope you liked what you saw. If we didn't mention it already, we are on Instagram and Facebook at Just Another Skoolie if you want to see more. But come on in and we'll answer some questions. Okay, apparently Blue wanted to answer questions with us, so we'll see if we can all fit on the couch here. But first of all, our conversion took us, well, it's hard to break down. The interior took us about a solid year. It was like the one good thing that came from the pandemic. Gave us plenty of time to get every detail done in the bus. Before that, we had the bus sitting for a while because we are from Pennsylvania and the weather in Pittsburgh where we were wasn't the best, and we started with the roof raise, obviously. So we had to play a waiting game for a while there. Also, we bought the bus before we got married, and then we got married in the mix of it all. So we had a lot going on. Overall, it was about 2 years.
Probably just a little under.
Just a little under 2 years before we actually hit the road with the bus. But like I said, most of the progress was done in one solid year.
Yeah, and then as for costs, so we only paid $2,500 for the bus initially. Needless to say, a good bit of money went into it, but because we had that much time with everything else going on, we were also able to find a ton of different deals on pretty much every aspect of the build. We've had a couple people recently kind of
question
almost call us out and say absolutely not, you didn't do that for that cheap. But we are only into the build for just over $20,000.
It's not easy finding deals, but because we had enough time, and Ethan here, you gave me credit for a lot of these projects, but literally everything he found deals for. He watched YouTube videos for. He made it work. We did all of the work ourselves too. And like I said, Ethan's dad was a carpenter, so he helped us out a ton. We saved a ridiculous amount of money.
Yeah.
So it's not unrealistic. It just depends on your timeline.
Yeah. Just our solar setup alone, if you were to buy it online and just if you needed it in a rush and made that move, I imagine you'd probably pay $10,000-$12,000 for what we bought solar wise. But
not that we paid anything near that much.
Yeah. But yeah,
are you leaving us? No.
If you find the deals, you can do this very affordably. The fact that we were able to do something like this for $20,000 while saving money, living in it along the way, is crazy to me. But clearly it's crazy to a lot of people based on some of the questions we've been getting. So with that in mind, we are on the road, about 3 months now?
What is it, June now?
Yeah.
June. So yeah, we left in March. So it hasn't been too long. We're figuring it out. There are plenty of things that we've learned so far. I think the biggest lesson that we've learned living tiny so far is the need to stay organized. It is insane. It doesn't seem like it's that big of a deal, but it really, a small space gets very unorganized very quickly. With that being said, it doesn't take much to get it back in order, but just the upkeep of everything has to be in its place, everything has a home, put everything away. We are quickly learning that we need to retrain our brains to live a certain way.
Yeah. I think the only other thing that we would really change about the build, other than maybe going with a slightly smaller or slightly shorter bus, is that we would want the couch that we're currently sitting on to probably be a dinette.
We've seen a lot of dinette builds.
Yeah, it would be nice to have somewhere easy to sit down and have a table or something in front of you, rather than having to pull our table out and set it up between the two couches.
Not that that's a big deal, and that's what we told ourselves during the build, is that we wouldn't mind setting up the table, and we would rather have 2 full couches, especially because, as you can see, the dogs love to hang out on them. But just the act of setting up the table is sometimes too much. So I think if there was anything we would change, it would be to have a dinette on one side instead of 2 full couches.
Yeah. I also think we may have been able to get away with one longer countertop versus the 2 across from each other, just to have some more floor space for the dogs. Yeah. But clearly he will lay just about wherever.
We almost have too much storage.
Yeah.
There are things that we packed away and hid in here that we don't even know are there. So I think it wouldn't be that big of a sacrifice to go smaller, or even just less storage space, and like he said, have more open floor. But we also spend a lot of our time outside, so it has just been a dream come true to be able to travel with these guys. Well, wherever Milo is.
Not to mention how much these 2 are loving it. New places, new people, new things, new adventures.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, so far we love it. 10 out of 10 would recommend. If you're considering going tiny or converting a bus, do it.
Big dogs or not. But preferably with the big dogs.
Well, thank you for coming to tour our home. We hope you enjoyed it, and like I said, if you want to see more, you can find us on Facebook or Instagram at Just Another Skoolie.
Thanks for checking it out, guys.